Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is May the 19th, 2025, and yes, fourth video of the day. Welcome, Professor Gerdes. It's a huge day, and we need to keep
It's
up
been a
with
busy
it.
day.
It's
That's
been a
what we
very
say.
busy day, and today we have documented a significant number of events related to the Trump-Putin call, and this will be a landmark day. There's no question about that.
Yeah,
We
I
know.
think he thinks it's going to be more than what it actually is, and I think that we'll start to see when we look at the Russian perspective how they understand it as opposed to how he understands it.
Well, you're going to have three perspectives. You're going to have Trump's perspective. You're going to have Zelenskyy and Ukraine and Russia and Putin, and we're seeing them unfold. And both you and I have covered pieces of that during the day. But we had only the Truth Social response from Trump. But just a little while ago, he was in a press conference, and some questions arose. So I'm, we're partnering on this, but I'm actually going to submit that Donald Trump in his Q&A has validated that he is supporting the Russian position more than the Ukrainian position. And I think this will be interesting as we go through it. And at the end, you can say, nope, Greg, I think you're wrong, or there's some credence to that. So you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do
so
it.
the call was 2 hours. Putin, 3 minutes after that call, came out, ran straight to the cameras. After that, Trump put out his big Truth Social about how it was a very good call and look forward to doing business after the war. Then Zelenskyy came back with his statement that says, we're not going to withdraw. We'll work according to our Constitution, and we'll see what unfolds from there. And I know this thumbnail is weird, but it's accurate. Yes, I told them Zelenskyy is the problem. It actually comes out of his mouth, and you'll see it in just a few moments. But let's start here. I want to remind you, Prof, April the 24th, 2025, Donald Trump, truth. I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. And I know you're going, oh, what is this up here for, Greg? Because you just coming out of a class. This is why this is up here. All right. So there's the Truth Social from April 24th. Here was Trump speaking just minutes ago. Here you go.
You mentioned that you believe Putin wants peace, but he just attacked Ukraine yesterday. So what makes you think that he wants peace?
Well, he's in a war, nobody said don't. They're fighting, they're attacking each other, and people are dying all the time. He's in a war, he's fighting a war. Nobody said he was going to stop. I think, is it terrible? Yeah, it's terrible. I think it's terrible.
Can you weigh in on President Biden? President Biden just...
Nobody said stop. I think he said
Well,
stop.
okay, so you're taking him a little bit too literally here, but the point is he didn't listen to Trump saying stop because they're not really like this. I mean, if Trump thinks they're like this, Putin's like this, and whoops.
Well, that's very accurate. Exactly.
And Trump's over here somewhere. Like they're not really. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that my thing would do confetti if I do that.
Well, it's the Putin celebration of the call today. Yes, look at this is it, guys. Okay,
So,
but I will tell you from Russian perspective, 30 years working, Ukrainian perspective, 28 years working. When they see Vladimir stop, they interpret it literally. So he's been told. We may not interpret it literally, but they interpret it literally.
I think he would have liked Putin to stop, but Putin's not planning to stop, and there's no indication that he's going to stop.
No, there's not. In fact,
today or the
right
call
now
today, where we might get to a ceasefire. We're gonna have a memo, and we might get to a ceasefire if we can work out some agreements. So there's an if then, and then it's backwards, and it's a big mess.
Well, you wait till you hear from Peskov in just a minute. All right, next one, and then we'll get into the statements. March the 7th, 2025. Based on the fact that Russia is absolutely pounding Ukraine on the battlefield right now, I am strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions, and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire, and here come the caps, final settlement agreement on peace is reached. To Russia and Ukraine, get to the table right now before it's too late. Thank you, 3 exclamation points. And here you go.
Why haven't you increased the sanctions on Russia yet?
Well, because I think there's a chance of getting something done. And if you do that, you can also make it much worse. But there could be a time when that's going to happen.
On Solovyov, of course, we're May 19th.
Yeah, so I think Trump is considering sanctions like Putin is considering peace.
Fair enough.
They're considering it. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Ushakov today reported, and this is quoted, I shared it on an earlier video, that Donald Trump even said, I want an agreement, not sanctions. And so what you're seeing there is spot on with what Trump said on that call. I mean, it's in the transcript. But it's interesting, March 7th, May 18th. Now let's continue. Let's talk about it. This is the overview, kind of how I see it. We'll see what your thought is. After a 2-hour conversation with Putin, Donald Trump chose a softer tone. Instead of the promised devastating sanctions, Trump declared a great conversation and called Russia a country with tremendous opportunities for trade.
All right, this thing bothers me more than anything else.
Okay.
There's no reason you should be talking about trade deals with Russia at this point. You should be talking about reparations for what they've done. I said this before, and I don't know if I said this in a video or if I said this when we were talking, but this is almost genius if you could take the morality out of it, right? Oh, we can incentivize them with these great trade deals, but it's highly immoral if you're doing it without recognizing the immorality that's involved of allowing the victimizer to just stop and then come right back into the fold of the world community and buying and selling and trading. That would be terrible. That would be a huge injustice that would just fester in that part of the world. That's between Ukraine and all the neighbors that have been victimized by Russia in the past, they would all, it would be a gaping, just a wound that would fester. And so this is a bad idea.
This is just for validation. This is the truth tweet, whatever, from earlier. Right in the middle. We won't go over this. It's on other videos. Both of us have covered. There is a tremendous opportunity for Russia to create massive amounts of jobs and wealth. Its potential is unlimited. Likewise, Ukraine can be a great beneficiary on trade in the process of rebuilding its country. It's so one-sided, and there's no morality in it whatsoever.
It makes me wonder if there wasn't this trade opportunity lure, would Trump have been far more even-handed? And I think he would have been. But I think he thinks hey, we're going to make this great deal on the other side, and that's what's pushing him. So it's like he's being bribed.
Yeah, and we also have...
Whether it's by his own desires or by an actual bribe, it's like he's being bribed rather than being even-handed, which he should be. Or
I'm going to throw this in there just for your consideration. We have a mineral deal that will never develop until the war is over. And the very rarest earth minerals, you can look at all the geological maps, are located in occupied Russia, where Russia is occupying in eastern Ukraine. So it's almost like, looks like Russia may keep that territory. I need to make sure I can get access to those minerals because we have a deal. It's just, there's a lot at play there. It's unfortunate for what we're seeing. And let's go to the next one. Putin said today in his 3-minute speech, at the end of it, there will be further details coming from Peskov. You will hear him speak later. Well, he did come out a couple of hours later and he made some statements. The following 2 are the most important he made. Quote, everyone is interested in a swift resolution to the Ukraine conflict, but Russia is focused on addressing the root causes of the war. Second, there are no deadlines and there can't be any. It's clear that everyone wants to do it as quickly as possible, Trump, but of course, The devil is in the details. And sir, that is a direct quote.
All right, so I'll let you deal with the fun one in a second. The second quote. The first one, the root causes are. It's just fascinating because they keep using this as an alibi to evade actually doing anything. And frankly, the root causes aren't what they say. The root cause is the imperialist mindset that Russia has never had to reckon with. And you can have fun with the second bullet point.
Well, the second one is very simple. And to be quite honest with you, you will understand why my thumbnail is the way it is in just a couple of minutes in regard to the deadline. Russia is firm in their position that they are going to have their summer offensive. They're going to gain as much territory as possible. We're having some unfortunate breakthrough on the highway that connects Pokrovsk and Konstantinivka. It's very significant. We have the Russian invasion in the Sumy region.
That pocket in Konstantinivka is closing, right?
It's in big trouble. It's in big trouble, and they know it. We'll see. You know, that's why they're not worried about deadlines.
That's right.
In addition to that, there's no pressure on them for deadlines.
Right. I mean, the pressure's only one-sided.
Exactly. There's no pressure. They had the European Union leaders, the UK leadership, have multiple times stated that Trump can get this done. He needs to put the pressure on. So that has been set up for weeks and weeks and weeks. Today was the opportunity to place that pressure. It did not happen. That's what it comes down to.
Tomorrow, what happens with the EU is going to be really important, right?
Very
important.
important.
It's supposed to be the 20th, and if they pull back and say, okay, well, we're going to have another if-then kind of scenario. I mean, why are we even doing it? I mean, if we got to see what the European leaders are going to do with sanctions. Hopefully, they'll man up and still do the sanctions that they've been promising, so that it continues to put pressure and strain. Because Trump's just talking, and we need to see actual pressure.
And it just continues. And as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, this is Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson regions that they claim as theirs. Look where all the attacks are happening. Not even in the territory they're trying to liberate. It's so messed up. It is so messed up. But you're getting ready to see something. Hopefully. Trump then went on to answer some questions just a little while ago. I'm going to give you these three statements and play one video. He said, quote, "I have a red line in my head about when I stop putting pressure on Russia and Ukraine. I won't say what the red line is. I think Putin has had enough. I think Putin wants to stop. Secondly, if there's no meaningful progress, we will hand over responsibility for Ukraine to Europe. Ukraine has always been Europe's problem, and we should not be involved. I think there's a real chance for peace in Ukraine, which is why tightened sanctions on Russia have not happened." We saw that video a little bit earlier, but now, sir, here comes the red line.
Do you have a red line in your head of what would cause you to back away? And
yeah, in my head, but not something I'm going to announce. But yeah, definitely in my head I do, yeah.
Exactly what that
because this isn't our war. This is not my war. This is not the war. I mean, we got ourselves entangled in something that we shouldn't have been involved in. And we would have been a lot better off. And maybe the whole thing would have been better off because it can't be much worse. It's a real mess. It's a death trap. Exactly. So I think that, yeah, I would say I do have a certain line. But I don't want to say what that line is because I think it makes the negotiation even more difficult than it is. Yes, please.
Mr. President.
Seriously?
He doesn't want to do it just like Putin doesn't want a ceasefire. Like, yeah, I mean, that's what it amounts to.
I will say this. If Joe Biden, my opinion, dear folks, if Joe Biden had not come out with that extreme cancer diagnosis yesterday, he would have inserted there at Sleepy Joe's war. At least he didn't say that.
Hey, did you see Marjorie Taylor Greene even said kind words about Biden?
Yes, everyone did except Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, even Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying, I'm praying for him. My dad died of cancer in 2021. This is terrible. Right?
Yeah.
Why do we have to have such? I mean, even Ukraine's like this, where we have to get to such a bad place before we come together. Like it's just
Well, that's what we're fighting for, to
it's
bring
pretty
people
terrible.
together and
Yeah.
and share truth. But I will tell you, if you've made it this far in the video, folks, this is what my title is about. This is what the thumbnail's about, because Prof wanted me to deal with the deadline. Okay, this is the one that absolutely boils me. He said, quote, Zelenskyy is not the easiest person to talk to. By the way, they were very careful to say today and clear, oh, this was first name basis. It wasn't president. It was Vladimir and it was Donald, and back and forth. Very easy one. And then Russia propaganda put out, nobody wanted to hang up. Nobody. You hang up.
You hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
It's
you hang
there.
up.
Yes. But Zelensky's not the easiest person to talk to. Now, there is a consideration for additional arms shipments. The U.S. provided Ukraine with record amounts for a foreign country, hundreds of billions. But this is the one that boils me. In 2 to 4 weeks, it will be possible to say whether Ukraine is doing enough to end the conflict and achieve peace. Without further ado, it's his own words.
In your mind, is Ukraine doing enough to get this?
I'd rather tell you in about 2 weeks from now, because I can't say yes or no. Zelenskyy, he's not the easiest person to deal with, but I think that he wants to stop.
Of course, there it is on Solovyov, already all over Russian state TV.
That's amazing. I just like what more can Zelenskyy be doing? He's agreed to every demand, and but he's the problem.
Not only is he the problem, he's not easy to talk to, but in 2 to 4 weeks, it'll be possible to say whether Ukraine is doing enough to end the conflict. So my question for you, is it not Ukraine that has offered a full unconditional ceasefire for over 2 months?
Sure, absolutely.
Isn't it Ukraine that was the nation that was invaded?
Yep.
Then why is it their responsibility to do enough to end the war?
Because he doesn't want to address it, just like Putin doesn't want a ceasefire.
And the war will continue.
That's simple.
Well, this is where we're at. That's the latest, up to date, everything I can tell you. Air alarms are rolling. Shaheeds are flying. We do know that the Tupolev 95s, the big bomber planes, are loaded with missiles. That's the wrong button. And they're ready to go. So we'll see.
So
as you said,
thanks for curating those clips so that we could see this, because that's nothing that I've talked about yet. I hadn't seen it when I did the first video today. Trump hadn't spoken when I did my 3 big stories. I only had his Truth Social post and a few other comments. So these are all fresh. So
they are very fresh, and I'm pulling them off of Solovyov.
Wow.
Now I put the English subtitles on because we have a lot of international people that may not, they understand English, but Trump's English sometimes hard to understand. You need to see and hear what he said. So this is where we're at. Thank you, Prof. And as you said, I think tomorrow going to be interesting to see how the European Union responds.
That's definitely going to be the big story. What does Europe actually do? If they step up and do the sanctions, I think there's a good deal of hope. In fact,
I have a big question for you.
Yeah.
I just saw this in passing, didn't dive into it, so I can be completely wrong. But when Trump made the call informing European leaders and Zelenskyy, that was a group call. I do know that after the talk with Putin, but Starmer wasn't on it.
I don't know that that's the case.
Look it up.
Might not be. I don't know that that it wasn't. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Meloni. I remember Merz. I remember Macron.
Reading Russian media, I'm not a propagandist. I am a fighter for truth and stand for what is right in Ukraine. But to help you guys understand, I read Russian media, I speak Russian language, and then get it to you in Ukrainian. So all over Russian media, they're blasting it. Oh, Trump and Starmer have a problem. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I could be wrong. Guys, if I'm wrong, drop it in the comments. Just because he
wasn't in the call doesn't mean that there was a problem any more than just because Macron was against Romania being taken over by the Russian supported figure that somehow he's meddling. Dugin was saying he was meddling. Dugin was saying that he was like, it was so weirdly backwards and bizarre. Like,
That's
but
all they
you're
do,
not.
man. Spin, spin, spin.
It hurts my head sometimes. So anyway,
I don't think you've seen anything yet.
yeah. Well, we'll be
Hey.
looking for this tomorrow with the
Yes, sir.
EU.
You have a good evening.
right.
And for all of you around the world, if your morning's just starting, I know a lot of our guys over in the East will be watching this, Australians, New Zealand, and good morning to you. So thanks, Prof. Catch you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.